Hello and how's it going, everybody? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news, and the news I have for you today is a brand new discovery that I just made about the PS5. This discovery is related to new technology and new features that'll most likely be on the PS5 because the patent for this technology is a direct continuation of a patent for technology that was filed for the PS4. Sony's been doing stuff with this sort of thing for a while now, and it's very interesting to see what direction all of this was headed to all along. There have been a lot of patents for next-gen gaming technology. I've been covering and breaking a lot of news to the community from both Sony and Xbox, and so far it looks like the next generation of gaming is truly going to be next level. There will be a huge improvement from the last generation to this one, and the hype is assuming direct control. Now, as well as my new discovery about the PS5, we're going to be breaking this down together, because as always, I'm going to be recording my screen. That way you can see my bullshit capacity meter is always running at 0%, and that way you can look up the information for yourself to verify it if you choose to. And we're gonna start our adventure right here. This should look familiar to a lot of my subscribers and viewers who have seen me break other PS5 news and information. This is the current pending and active list of all of the technology from Sony. Everything from their video games to their game consoles, to remote controls, to phones, to TVs, to literally everything they are doing. There's a ton of stuff you can find in here, and it takes a while to find anything that might even possibly be related to the PS5, but there is a brand new patent that was just updated, and that makes it a little bit easier to find, and it is the star of today's video, and it is this patent right here. Intelligent user-based game soundtrack. Now, one thing you might be thinking is a lot of the other patents that I've been talking about and that I have covered in previous videos related to the PS5 usually aren't very clear as to what they do. You can kind of infer what they're talking about. In regards to if it's going to be involved in gaming or even the PS5, you really don't have any idea, but this right up in the freaking description, in the title for the patent, says user-based game soundtrack. Now, yes, this technology isn't entirely anything new. There have been user-based game soundtracks in gaming as long as I can almost remember. I even remember Grand Theft Auto Vice City had a custom radio station a long time ago, but like I said, this technology is going to be next level. The PlayStation has allowed you to put your own music onto the console and even play it in-game for a long time now. Xbox has done the same, but that's not what this is about. This is a continuation of a patent that was filed for the PS4 in 2017. They started to dabble with improving this technology and working towards what they're about to do now, and I am hyped. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and read you the abstract description of this patent. Normally, I can find documents and paperwork and a lot of extended stuff for any patent that I come across. However, in this case, I couldn't find anything, which was super weird and interesting, and was the first time I was never able to find any paperwork on a patent. I don't think that's because Sony's trying to hide this. Maybe it is, or maybe it's because this new update to this patent is so new that it just hasn't made it through the US Patent and Trademark Office system yet. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and read to you exactly what this thing does, and it is so hype. A method, system, and processor readable storage medium for providing audio playback are disclosed to enable users to replace a background music in a computer or video game with music of their choice, while preserving other in-game sounds. An example method comprises receiving a game music stream from a gaming application of a user, which includes a game background soundtrack and in-game sounds, extracting audio parameters of the game background soundtrack, determining an emotional classification of the game background soundtrack based on the audio parameters of the game background soundtrack, selecting a user soundtrack from a user music library that matches the emotional classification of game background soundtrack, replacing at least a part of the game background soundtrack with the user soundtrack, and providing a replacement game music stream to the user. The replacement game music including the user soundtrack and the in-game sounds. Wow, I never thought I would stop saying game user soundtrack or game soundtrack or wow, okay, anyway, that is hype. Now, if you don't understand exactly what this is saying, is essentially all the music that you put on the PS5, the console itself will scan that music, determine what type of emotional value it should apply towards a song, like is this song good for sad moments, is this song good for action moments or happy moments, and then when you're playing a game that's compatible with this technology, the game can actually allow you to choose if you want to use your own user-based soundtrack. That means when you're playing a game and something sad happens, the PS5 will be able to detect that that game is playing a sad song, and before it even happens, it'll choose one of the songs that you've uploaded onto the PS5 itself that match that emotional value. Meaning if you have like 30 sad songs, if you're some kind of emo sad boy, it'll choose one of those songs at random for that moment within the game, and that is hype. Yes, at least the first time you play a game, you probably don't want to enable this option. I, for one, love to hear the actual original soundtracks for games because they usually are part of the experience, part of the immersion, and kind of part of the world. I want to be told the story and get the experience and the gameplay that the developers want me to have, and you can't do this if you're not using the music that came with the game. Of course, this would make for some pretty awesome replay value. I mean, I can only think of the possibilities that we could use with this, or even the possibilities for funny-ass videos that people could do with like totally inappropriate songs for certain situations in the game. There's gonna be a whole nother level of memes now because of this. But it seems like both Xbox and Sony are taking the next step when it comes to the next generation of gaming. They're not just gonna make the graphics better, they're just not gonna make the user interface better. They actually want to go a step further and allow their consoles to provide a next-gen level gaming experience. It seems like there's gonna be technology within the consoles themselves that could take away from the workload of the game developers and allow them to add to the creativity of their game worlds and to the story, the characters, and stuff like that. It seems like a lot of engine stuff, like physics, and even this music situation are all going to be handled by the game consoles themselves, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is everything that is not being talked about in the open by Sony and Xbox, and like I've been saying for a while, I expect the next generation of gaming to drop by 2019 or at the absolute latest 2020. Now there is one thing to keep in mind though. Technology has been showcased directly by Microsoft and Sony for the current generation of gaming that was never released. I don't know if you guys remember before the Xbox One came out, Microsoft was going to have a kind of projector thing that would put snow into your living room if you were playing a game and it was snowing outside and stuff like that. And that obviously didn't happen, however the patents for that technology did exist. So even though I'm finding all of this technology for stuff that is most likely going to be on the PS5 and the Xbox whatever, keep in mind that for whatever reason this technology may just not work out, it may be too expensive to implement, or they could just choose to not use it altogether. So just because this is a patent filed by Sony, and it is most likely for the PS5, Sony may decide to not use this technology for whatever reason. The same goes for anything I've reported on with Xbox. So keep that in mind while going forward, and as always, I want to know what you have to say about all of this. Are you hyped for next gen? Does this custom user-based soundtrack thing sound like something you're gonna use? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and if your comment wins the internet and may get featured in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe to stay in the know when it comes to the latest and the greatest gaming news. Follow me over on Twitter for the latest channel updates and random stuff about me. Come over to the channel Discord chat server where there is always an awesome and active conversation and some speculation taking place. Be sure to check out Loot Drop, the channel merchandise store over on Teespring. You can get a coffee mug or even a t-shirt to let everyone know that your bullshit capacity meter is always running at 0%. And if you want to have your hands in providing future content and getting access to my latest gaming discoveries before I pretty much tell anyone else about them and even do videos about them, then consider subscribing to the community on Patreon or joining the channel here on YouTube for only $4.99. You get exclusive tips, behind the scenes information, and like I said, any gaming discovery I make, I will tell you all exclusively before I even do a video about it. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when I discover a new patent by the PS5 that punches you in the freaking face.
Bye, have a great time.